Before we start creating our first React app with test-driven development, we should get a good grasp of what test-driven development really means. Now, this lecture won't introduce any code, but is a general walkthrough of what the approach of test-driven development refers to. So if you already feel like you have a good grasp of this concept, go ahead and skip this lesson. Alright, what is test-driven development? Test-driven development is a style of coding in which you not only code the features, but also test those features simultaneously. And actually, simultaneously might not be the best word to describe the approach. After all, you write the tests first in test-driven development. So it's best to say you test those features beforehand, preemptively, if you will. Essentially, your code is driven by your tests. In general, a test-driven development, or TDD for short, approach will work in this order. First, write a single unit test to describe some aspect or feature of your application. A unit test is called a unit test because it tests the smallest possible part of an application as a unit and checks for proper behavior. Second, run the test. See if it fails because, well, the application doesn't have the feature yet. Third, write enough code for your application to make the test pass. Finally, you refactor the code so that it reduces duplication, and it's composed of the minimum number of components, lines, methods, etc. Finally, you repeat this process from 1 to 4 over and over again for each new feature or aspect of your app until you collect a nice suite of unit tests over time. Now, we must ask the question, why should we code in the test-driven development style? For one, many teams and companies report that adopting this style largely reduces errors and defects. Even though it might add a little development effort, you have a much higher chance that every avenue of your code is well covered and tested and free from bugs. Plus, it can lead to a better coding style. Many longtime coders of TDD will claim that it improves the design of their feature code, leading to a greater degree of technical quality. Alright, let's now dive into a couple of the libraries and frameworks we'll use to test our React applications. First off, we have Jest. Jest is a test runner made by Facebook, able to test any JavaScript environment, and is most frequently used to test React applications. As a test runner, Jest will give us a lot of power. We can create tests in a specific __ test folder or by using the test.js extension, and Jest will automatically find the test and run it for us when we use a startup command. Jest also has a lot of neat extra features like snapshot testing, which is essentially a recorded history of your code and something we'll explore more deeply later. And we get some nice test coverage options, which is a way to show how well our tests cover the lines in our code and application. It even has the ability to mock functions, which allows us to check that something was called in our application. We'll dive into this mocking of functions more deeply, as mocking will become an important part of our testing strategy as we create our applications. Next, we have a library called Enzyme by Airbnb. Enzyme is a testing utility library for React that will allow us to work with specific components. It gives us a lot of power. It allows us to test the effects of things like user and DOM behavior like a click or typed input. And it gives us the ability to find specific items in the component itself. With Jest and Enzyme as a pair, we'll have the power to fully test our React applications. We'll discover some neat ways we can test React apps in consideration of all of its behavior, lifecycle hooks, the Redux flow, and when it works with external services like an API. Not to mention, we'll learn how test-driven development truly works with React by following the TDD approach to write the test first and the code after. Once we build these test-driven React apps together, you'll find a new appreciation and love for this coding approach.